So this story is about a year old, but it still talks about a truck driver driving impaired, and this time he killed a police officer who had stopped in the road and was trying to move out some debris that had fallen off another truck. And this was sent to me by Troy Hall, and he said in his message, "I enjoy your videos. I was working in the area of this accident where a deputy was picking up a ladder that had fallen on the interstate when he was hit by a trucker who was impaired. Thanks." A trucker was recently sentenced, and we'll talk about what he was impaired with and what the story is. When one of my subscribers sends me a story, and it happens from time to time, I then always send them back because it was their info, and I send them back with a pretty in-depth thought on how I feel about what I just read and what I'm going to say in the video and whether I can use their name. And Troy said yes, I can use his name. I guess he didn't have any problems with how I felt about what my opinion was going to be on it, because really it's usually just my opinion. But this one, let me start out saying this actually was a driver impaired with marijuana. Now, I will tell you my stance on marijuana. I am actually very pro marijuana. I think it has amazing medical effects. I've seen it with friends, family. I've seen it very close family. Medical effects it can have with pain, anxiety, depression, things like that. I also don't have a problem with it for recreational use at all. But I think it needs to be treated like alcohol. I love beer as much as the next guy. I'm drinking one right now, but I'm in my office doing a video, not driving a truck. And that's exactly how I feel about marijuana. I hope it gets legalized everywhere for recreational use, but it has to be regulated when driving. So now that you have that opinion, and I've always been pretty outspoken, maybe my opinion has changed over the years the more that I learned about this drug. But yeah, this accident is really a shame, because I have a feeling that there was so many lives that were affected by it. I'll read the story he sent to me, and this story that he sent to me actually came out November 15th of 2023, so almost a year ago, and I did not know about this at the time. But the man who struck and killed Loudon County Sheriff's Sergeant Chris Jenkins in February 2022 has been sentenced to 10 years after pleading guilty to vehicular homicide. The person who hit him was Christopher Savannah, 43 years old, of Houston, Texas, and he admitted to smoking marijuana while he was driving a Freightliner tractor trailer on I-75 on the morning of February 3rd, 2022. Roane County District Attorney General Russell Johnson said in a press release. I don't know why that was the district attorney from Roane County that charged him, and Sergeant Chris Jenkins was from Loudon County. I'm not sure why. But if you don't know, they are counties pretty much side by side, actually just west, of Knoxville. So Jenkins had pulled over to the right-hand shoulder, stopped, and was exiting his cruiser to remove an extension ladder that had fallen off of a truck in the middle of the northbound interstate lanes. Savannah, instead of coming to a stop, plowed his truck into at least two vehicles in front of him before striking Jenkins. Jenkins, 48, graduated from Loudon High School and served in the United States Air Force before joining the sheriff's office in 2002. Jenkins became a canine officer in 2007 and had been promoted to sergeant in 2021. I don't know if it was just Jenkins that was struck, if his car wasn't struck. It does lead me to wonder where the dog was. I know that sounds weird, but it does make you wonder if he was in the car and the car wasn't hurt, or maybe he didn't have a canine at that time. But I believe canine officers always have their canine. I think. I don't know much about it. So the story goes on to say that there was a plea agreement agreed upon, a sentence of 10 years. noting that Savannah has no prior criminal history and that under Tennessee vehicular homicide law at that time that Jenkins was killed, the sentence range for vehicular homicide started at 8 years. The family members are glad to have a resolution to this case and are now able to put this behind him. So, what initially caused the accident was a ladder fell off a truck. It does go on to say, not a whole lot about it, but it says the driver responsible for losing the unsecured ladder was charged and convicted on 3 counts of misdemeanor reckless endangerment, which 3 counts and reckless endangerment, that seems a bit excessive to me, but I don't know anything about that story. I don't know why it fell off. I don't know anything else. I would like to think that it was just either bad securement or a strap breaking or something like that, but we don't know. I mean, 3 counts of reckless endangerment, there might have been more to it. So, the family moved on, and they're a family of police officers, but so many people, affected by this. The truck driver. It says he has no previous record. It was, how old was he here? It said, yeah, sorry about that. 43 years old. I don't know how long he had been driving truck. For all I know, he had a good driving record. Maybe he had a bad one, but this accident may have happened anyway. Maybe he was doing something that caused him to not watch the road or something. But the fact remains, let me back up here. If he had just been distracted or something, he may not have been charged and probably could have gotten off on vehicular homicide. The fact is, though, that he admitted to smoking marijuana, had it in his system, and at that point, he's out. He's out. He's guilty of vehicular homicide. Whether the accident would have happened or not, we don't know. We'll never know. I'd like to think it wouldn't have, but we don't know. Either way, a good police officer was killed. So, guys, there's not too much more to say about it. Just another thing, a truck driver, did something, was impaired, and just don't do it. Just don't do it. Anyway, I think that this police officer, Officer Jenkins, deserves me to finish reading this story. So if you don't mind sticking with me, this was actually from his funeral. And it says here, there are no words adequate to capture what made this man larger than life, said Sergeant Chris Hutchins. Simply put, he was the very best of us, and it wasn't even close. Here's one that really hits home. Jenkins' son, Clay Jenkins, 25, is also a deputy with the Loudon County Sheriff's Office. Clay Jenkins said his father was his hero with a badge, adding, "Dad, you were and still are Superman." Clay Jenkins told the assembled crowd wearing a Loudon County Sheriff's uniform was the most honorable thing he has ever done in his life. "I couldn't help but follow in the best footsteps," he said of his father. "I always wanted to make him proud." He followed this up by Clay Jenkins said, "He will carry out his legacy with honor," adding, "I want you to look at me and see the walking image of my dad." And, I'm a truck driver, not a cop, but my dad was a truck driver. This is in our family, and I don't know if I would have driven a truck, if he wasn't. I don't know, but I can feel this son's pain and what happened. And again, guys, drugs, alcohol. Again, I'm drinking a beer right now. But you will never, ever, ever, I promise you, every cop could pull me over every time he sees me driving a truck. There's a challenge. You see me driving a truck, pull me over, breathalyze me. Go for it. Test me for drugs. I don't know. I've said that I'm pro marijuana. If it becomes recreational, I don't know. I think those days are probably behind me, but maybe I would partake with some friends at a party if it wasn't drug tested, if we weren't actually tested for it. However, never in a truck. It is hard to drive a truck. Not always. Sometimes you're just holding the steering wheel. But other times it is hard. Like when you're on I-75 and a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit, like happened here, and traffic comes to an abrupt stop because a ladder landed in a road and a cop pulls over to get it. Don't do it, guys. Just don't do it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thank you, Troy, right? Troy, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you, Troy Hall, for bringing this to my attention. And thanks, guys, for watching. You know, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. I do a lot of different videos. Comment. I do read all the comments. I am still backed up because I had a video that went kind of crazy with comments, and it's hard to get through all of them, but I do read all the comments and try to respond to most of them. If you don't want to comment on here, just like Troy did, or if you have a story or something along these lines, just like Troy did, you can email me at finchresources@gmail.com. And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram under the Trucking Resources name. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.